Summer movie season is almost here, and it looks like Guy Ritchie is itching us back into it with Wrath of Man. I'm so damn excited to talk about this one, so let's get to it. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. My name is Zach. I am the Wolf of Geek Street, and if you guys enjoy movie reviews like this on a daily basis, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep talking movies every single day for the rest of your lives, because it's free. As well as make sure to comment down below your guys' thoughts on Wrath of Man. Have you guys been looking forward to this one? Do you like Jason Statham? Do you like Guy Ritchie? Let's discuss it all down there. Wrath of Man, the plot follows H, a cold, mysterious character working at a cash truck company responsible for moving hundreds of millions of dollars around Los Angeles each week. After doing one job, more seems to open up than we ever could discover, and this character's past starts to dive a little bit deeper than we could ever imagine. Wrath of Man is, again, a movie that I actually didn't think was coming out this year. I knew Guy Ritchie was making a brand new film, but it really got shot, written, directed, and came out of nowhere. And it's really, again, the start of the early summer blockbuster season, because last year we didn't really get one of these at all. Actually, no, we didn't, because movie theaters weren't open, but they are now. And I think Wrath of Man is better than I actually thought it was going to be. And I don't know if it's just because this movie is like my shit, like literally the definition of my jam. Like everything this movie was, it's something that I really dug. And even though it's not like a perfect movie by any means, it's heavily entertaining. And I'm just a fan of Guy Ritchie in general. Like anytime he does a movie, it's always entertaining. But you know it's a Guy Ritchie movie. But this is kind of a different one for that sake. You know, Guy Ritchie's known for his fast editing, his fast witty dialogue, and all sorts of elements like that. And apparently some of the story structure as well as the way that some stories can bounce around. And Wrath of Man does the exact same thing. The thing I will say, though, this felt like the most darkest Guy Ritchie film yet, tonally at least. The story being told here actually is fairly dramatic and actually fairly dark. There are some, again, fun quippy lines here and there, but this overall felt like the most unique and different approach yet to a Guy Ritchie movie, and I was not fully expecting that at all. I really dug it. And I think what Guy Ritchie does here is maybe one of my favorite Guy Ritchie films yet. You know, he has a wide filmography, but I would probably put this in his top 5 favorite ones for me personally. And with that, let's get straight into it. This has one of my favorite scores in a Guy Ritchie film yet. He always has this underlying score that swells and sweeps into every single scene. And in this one, I dug it. The way that, again, it just intertwines each and every set piece and just feels perfectly melancholy for every single thing going on just works wonders. Jason Statham is just fantastic in this role. He's playing the typical Jason Statham role, but there is a little bit more depth to him than I was expecting. And again, that mysterious aspect, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, do not watch the trailer, because I think the trailer does give away a little bit too much of what's actually going on in this story. Whereas my dad, who watched it with me, when he was watching it, he had no idea where the story was going at. At least I kind of had an idea of like what the actual concept of it all is. And Jason Statham, I really dug in here. Jeffrey Donovan, freaking always great. I want this guy in more things right away. Of course, even Holt McCauley, Rocio Williams, and Scott Eastwood, all of them just come into play in such a fun way. And the entire cast is great here too. There's a bunch of familiar faces that you're gonna be like, oh, I know him, oh, I know him. And it's just always a great time. Plus, again, this is a Guy Ritchie movie. And for the most part, I think if you like Guy Ritchie movies, you're going to like this movie. If you're not a fan of Guy Ritchie, maybe this isn't up to you. Because again, the story does bounce around a lot, especially in its structure. But for me, not in a confusing manner. I thought it actually worked for the way that the story was unraveling and actually telling a story, and had a lot more elements to it than I was expecting. At first I thought, oh, this is going to be your typical crime drama with a little bit of a revenge thriller in there. But then it completely shifted and actually showed different perspectives of different characters and different elements of how the story, again, was unraveling. And that was the interesting element. And I should have expected that from a Guy Ritchie movie, because that's typical Guy Ritchie. That's what he does. That's why I think I really dug it, because I always dig his editing, his story structure, and the way that he's able to tell a story. Just tonally, again, this is a very dark movie. Though it is darker, it doesn't mean it's not entertaining. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna smile, and you're gonna be very engaged with everything going on in this movie. It's badass. The action scenes are just insanely fun, especially with Jason Statham. The way that Guy Ritchie is able to edit them it just feels so wonderful. One of the first ones that you actually do get to see in the trailer is just him taking people out with a pistol. Moments like that really much work in wonders. The way he shoots it is very much holding in on that shot, but tracking it left and right as the gun is swaying. And it is really, really awesome to see how he's able to bring that to life. And especially one of the last climactic action set pieces, because this isn't just a straight up action film, but the action scenes in here do have that unique Guy Ritchie feel to it that I always just really dig. Once the movie ended, I just sat there like, I want to see this movie again. Like, this is one hell of a good time, and honestly one of the big surprises of 2021, because when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, that looks like right up my jam. Let's go see it. New Guy Ritchie movie. But again, there was more to the story than I expected, and I should have known that. I thought, oh, maybe Guy Ritchie's trying this like typical revenge thriller, crime drama type thing, but even the trailer doesn't showcase what Guy Ritchie is able to do within his films. And again, that all comes down to the editing, the writing, and all elements like that. And again, as a Guy Ritchie fan, that is what I really enjoy. If you're not a fan of that, maybe you won't like it, which let's jump over to the cons now, because I think, again, one of the things that I liked was the way that the story moved around and the story structure. Now, some people I don't think are going to fully love that. I think some people might feel like it's a little bit too distracting or even gets away from the actual main storyline. But in a sense, I liked what Guy Ritchie did here because he added to the entire world and added to all the different characters and really fleshed out everything. And even though it does sometimes feel like there are two separate storylines going all at once, I feel like the way that it actually comes together makes sense and worked overall. But that's where I feel like some people might be a little bit mixed on it all. We'll say when it comes down to cons, there are a lot of moments where you do need to turn off your brain. I think some Guy Ritchie films are a little bit smarter where you can kind of enjoy it and not even have to worry about that element. But there are some dumb things that certain characters do in here, or even in general, their job profession, that if you've ever been around that, you're going to be like, I don't know if that would actually happen. That's a little bit too unrealistic for me. And again, that tonal shifts that kind of switch in and out of there, a little bit distracting at times, but that's really much a small con for how enjoyable the movie actually is. I think Wrath of Man is worth seeing in theaters, and I actually wish I could have seen this in theaters for the first time. I think Jason Statham nails this role so well, and Guy Ritchie, again, is the character of it all. His editing, his writing, his style is all over this movie, but tonally, it's different than his others. Yes, you might have to turn off your brain at certain times, but it's enjoyable nonetheless. It's badass, it's entertaining, and it's pretty intense. I overall really dug the story told here, and it was more than I thought I was going to be getting. I think for a film kicking off the summer blockbuster season, this is one that will definitely get you in the mood to head back to the movies. And if you're looking for an enjoyable time, Wrath of Man is definitely all that. So with all that said, I'm going to give Wrath of Man a B+. And what a shocking surprise for me for 2021. I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did, but I really enjoyed this one, and I think a lot of you guys are going to enjoy it as well. Again, very surprised on this one. Maybe I'm in the minority, but let's have a great discussion down below in the comment section, guys. Thank you once again for clicking on this. You guys are seriously all the best. Head on over to Statham Films on how to see films early, and of course, just a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.